Welcome to part 5 of Let's Play Freeway Fighter by Ian Livingstone. At the end of the last part I was on paragraph 154. Let's reread this paragraph as a reminder. Okay, Amber silences her two opponents, but you do not realise that you were being watched during your fight with the Doom Dogs. A fifth person remained inside the station wagon, the Animal. On seeing the last of his gang fall to the ground, he leaps out of the station wagon and runs at you unarmed, snorting like an angry bull. He is a terrifying sight in the moonlight. Huge and bare-chested, he wears a tight-fitting black face mask, knee-high boots with steel toe caps, and his clenched fists are wrapped in studded leather. Before you have time to react, he wraps his arms around you in a bear hug and starts to squeeze. Lose 2 stamina points. I think I did that already. Yeah, 19 to 17, I've already done that. Amber dare not risk shooting in case she hits you, and she looks around frantically for a hand weapon. She grabs a spanner from the back of the car and runs to your aid. Roll 1 die. If you roll 1 or 2, turn to 245. If you roll between 3 and 6, turn to 376. Okay, so we need to roll 1 die. Here we go. And we get a 6. Okay, so that's between 3 and 6, inclusive. So turn to 376. Here we go. I think if you get 1 or 2, you lose some stamina or something. I think. But this is the good one. Anyway, the Animal is knocked unconscious, but you take no chances and tie his hands. By the time you manage to free the interceptor from the station wagon, the sun is rising above the eastern horizon. You are bathed in warm red light and feel suddenly optimistic about completing the mission. You drive off south, leaving the cursing Animal to be found by the rest of his gang. Turn to 90. Brilliant. Oh, here it is, that was lucky. Amber becomes increasingly excited as you cross the desert and see the welcome sight of the San Anglo refinery burning in the distance. When you get close, she opens the door and waves to the guards on the wall. The steel entrance doors are opened and you are allowed to drive inside. You are greeted enthusiastically by the citizens and spend the rest of the day telling them about your adventures in the barbaric outlands. You are treated as a hero, your wounds are tended, and you are given the most comfortable cabin they have to offer. That night you sleep well. Add 1 skill point and 4 stamina points. Okay, so skill goes up to 9, and stamina goes up to 21. Good. In the morning, you wake to the sound of gunfire. You run outside and are told that the remnants of the Doom Dogs gang are making a final assault on the refinery. You climb the steps of the wall to see what is happening outside. A small truck is being driven straight towards the steel doors, and you see the driver jump clear just before the impact. There is a loud explosion, and one of the doors is blown off its hinges. On motorbikes and in cars, the Doom Dogs drive straight for the breach. As the gang bursts through the wall, the citizens start to panic, and you realize you will have to take command. Roll 2 dice. If the total is the same as or less than your skill, turn to 147. If the total is greater than your skill, turn to 18. There we go, that's what's just happened. Okay. Okay, now this is a little bit dodgy, because if we we need to test our skill, and if we fail this, it's death. So we need to roll 2 dice, and we need the dice roll to be less than or equal to 9. Don't know why I put a full stop there, I need a comma. Anyway, so we need to be less than or equal to 9. Here we go. Oh no, we're dead. Right, let's pretend that never happened. Let's do it again. There we are. Right, anyway, so that's that. Yeah, so you need to be successful there, otherwise you're dead. So that's just how it is, I'm afraid. So your whole run could be ruined. My whole run was ruined then, just because of that stupid dice roll. Anyway, so less than your skill, turn to 147. So 18 takes you to there we go. This would be my death. You shout encouragement to the citizens, but their spirit is broken. They surrender almost without resistance, and you realise that your mission will now never be completed. The Doom Dogs have their revenge. And that's it. You know, it's 147 anyway, so we were quote-unquote successful. Blimey, he's been taking his vitamins, as Duke Nukem would say. Anyway, you shout at the citizens to fall back and take cover inside the cabins. They obey your command and the battle commences. Suddenly, one of the Doom Dogs runs out from behind cover towards the armoured petrol tanker which has been prepared for you to drive back to New Hope. You drive at him but miss and watch him open the driver's door. You have no choice but to run through the crossfire to stop him driving the tanker away. Test your luck. If you are lucky, turn to 235. If you are unlucky, turn to 279. Okay, so luck is currently 8, so we need a dice roll to be 8 or less. And we're lucky this time. But we use a luck point, so we go down to 7. Anyway, so we were lucky, 10 to 235. There we go, there he is. He's been hitting the gym and his vitamins, obviously. 235. Keeping your head as low as possible, you run across the open space without being caught in the crossfire. 10 to 40. I think if we were unlucky, we just take some damage or something. So it's not as dramatically bad as the previous skill test failure. By the time you reach the tanker, the Doom Dog has already started up the engine. You jump up and grab hold of the manhandle. You jump up and grab hold of the door handle as the man reaches for his gun. The man has a skill of 6, and if your own skill is the same or greater, 10 to 81. If your skill is less than 6, 10 to 296. Yeah, if it's less than 6, we are dead again. So we need our skill to be greater than 6, really, or equal to 6, which it is because it's 9. So 10 to 81. So this book, in true Ian Livingstone fashion, this book gets really difficult towards the end and you can get instant deaths. He always does that in his books. That's why I don't really rate him that highly as a fighting fantasy book writer. I prefer Steve Jackson, personally. So I'm not really, I do like Ian Livingstone's books, obviously, but he's not as good as Steve Jackson. Anyway, your reactions are faster than those of the Desert Raider. You fling the door open and pull him out of the driver's seat onto the ground. He is easily overcome. Blimey, look at this. Considering the size of him, you must be even bigger than he is. He is easily overcome, and then you order him to tell his friends to call off the attack. He reluctantly agrees to your demand, and the shooting stops almost immediately. You keep your gun trained on your hostage while you watch the rest of the Doom Dogs retreat back into the desert. You let the captured Doom Dog follow his friends to the jeers and cheers of the inhabitants of the San Anglo refinery. After helping with the repairs to the entrance, you tell them that it is time for you to leave. You climb into the cabin of the tanker and wave farewell. You feel sad to be abandoning your faithful interceptor, but realize the importance of this mission. 2 cars escort you north along the road until you reach the edge of the desert. They turn and drive back to San Anglo, leaving you alone on the highway once more. You decide to head directly north, ignoring all turnings to which you come. The day passes without incident, and you keep on driving well into the night. When you are too tired to drive any further, you pull into a motel car park, as there are no lights showing in the rooms. If you wish to sleep inside the cabin of the tanker, 10 to 218. If you wish to go inside the motel, 10 to 335. We're going to sleep inside the cabin of the tanker, and 10 to 218. I'm sorry I have to say this, of reading motel. Hotel motel. It just makes me laugh, that does. Anyway, Anyway, 218. Although you sleep very lightly, waking at the slightest sound, the night passes peacefully. At first light you are on the road again. All is fine for an hour or so. Excuse me, sorry, just always talk of sleep, I'm tired. Anyway, all is fine for an hour or so until you see in your wing mirror 2 motorbikes approaching. Unfortunately, the petrol tanker is not armed with rear missile weapons, but it has a swivel-mounted machine gun on the cabin roof. As they draw nearer, you see that both bikers are carrying crossbows. What happened to Amber? Hubba hubba. They accelerate alongside the tanker, 1 on each side, and fire their crossbows at your front tires. You reply by firing your machine gun at the bike on your left. Roll 2 dice. If the total is the same as or less than your skill, 10 to 52. If the total is greater than your skill, 10 to 324. Again, if we fail this, we're dead. So we need this to be 9 or less. Okay, so we didn't have to cheat that time. Okay, so 10 to 52. So that's another instant death that we could have had. Your rapid-firing machine gun does not miss its target, and the bike skids off the road, crashing into a tree, but the rider does not die in vain. His crossbow bolt pierces your front tire and sends the tanker into a frightening skid. Wrestling with the steering wheel, you just manage to keep control and slide to a halt. Trapped inside your cabin, you wait to see what the other biker will do next. He parks behind the tanker and shouts at you to leave the cabin. You reply in a few words, but leave him in no doubt as to what you think of his suggestion. "How about a duel, then? Winner takes all," shouts the man. If you wish to agree to his proposal, turn to 164. If you'd rather sit it out, turn to 190. We're going to agree to a duel and turn to 164. Here we go. The hijacker tells you to step down on the road and prepare to draw your revolver. You jump down from the cabin and face the fearsome-looking man. With his crossbow pointed at the ground, he snarls loudly in order to unnerve you, but you are unperturbed by his tactics and tell him to fire whenever he is ready. His arm comes up quickly to signal the start of the duel. Roll one die and add the number to your current skill score. Roll the die again and add the number to the hijacker's skill of 7. If your total is the same as or greater than that of the hijacker, turn to 132. If the total is lower than that of the hijacker, turn to 205. Okay. Yeah, if we fail this one, we are dead. This is another death. So roll one die and add it to 9. Roll another one and add it to 7. Okay. So roll one die, add it to 9. Okay, that's 4, so we get 13. And for him, we get 5 plus 7 is 12. So we get 13 to 12, that means we win. So that's that, get rid of the buzzing. And yeah, 13 to 12, so I was the higher one. If your total is the same as or greater than that of the hijacker, turn to 132. It was, because it's 13 to 12. I got 13, he got 12, and actually, was it one die? A bit paranoid now. Yeah, it was. So 132. Okay. You just beat your opponent to the draw and watch. I'll say it again. You just beat your opponent to the draw and watch him drop to the ground as your bullet finds its mark. You climb back inside the driver's cabin and set off north. All day you drive as fast as the tanker will go. Apart from a disorganized ambush attempt in the late afternoon, which you easily smash through with the armored tanker, there are no incidents on the road. It is nearly dusk when you reach the outskirts of New Hope. Its high defended walls a strange but welcoming sight. If you were bitten by a rat on your homeward journey, turn to 275. If you escaped being bitten, turn to 380. I think that happens at the motel. Anyway, we escaped being bitten, so turn to 380. We were not bitten by a rat. Oh, it's the last one, isn't it? More or less. Why the... Oh, right, there are two... For some reason they've scanned this page twice, don't know why. Oh, I know, they're stupid. There we go, that was easy to figure out, wasn't it? You drive on towards New Hope and are relieved to see the town gates open. Hundreds of citizens turn out to greet you and you are given a hero's reception. The petrol will be put to good use to help build for the future. Civilization, albeit in a small way, is on the road to recovery. If you also manage to rescue Sinclair during your adventure, consider your mission a triumph. I triumphed. Excellent, good. Okay, that's the end of Freeway Fighter. I hope you enjoyed that. Next video, whenever I can be bothered to do it, will be Temple of Terror. I don't think I've done that. So Temple of Terror. Hope you can join me for that. I don't know if people want me to do another video game. I was going to do Resident Evil 3, but that game is just absolutely difficult and dire. It's just... I played it again the other day. It's just... Oh... Yeah, I just find the... What is it? The Pacific Island level really, really hard. It's just stupid. You know, and that's... Anyway, enough of that, but... I might do that eventually, but I'm going to need a lot more practice at it. It's just... If you thought Tomb Raider 2 was hard, Tomb Raider 3 is just out of this world. Anyway, Anyway, ow, just banged my knee. Anyway, so thanks for watching. I hope you can join me for the next video, which will be Temple of Terror, if I haven't done that before. I can't remember. If not, if I have done it, then I'll do Rings of Kether, whatever that is. Anyway, I think both of those books are swords and sorcery fighting fantasy books, not these futuristic ones, which, as you know, I'm not really a big fan. Apart from House of Hell, of course, which isn't really a futuristic one. That's more like a modern day one, really. But yeah, Freeway Fighter is post-apocalyptic, futuristic, whereas something like Space Assassin is really futuristic. It's good that they experimented outside the usual sort of not fighting fantasy, swords and sorcery thing. But when you think of fighting fantasy, all the best books, apart from House of Hell, are the swords and sorcery ones. And later on in the series, they're pretty much all like that. I can't remember any other books in the series that aren't swords and sorcery, to be honest, in the later ones. They sort of gave up trying to sort of diversify the series and just and they just kept with what works really, which is the swords and sorcery. They're the best ones when you're exploring a dungeon. I really like those books. You know. Anyway, thanks for watching. Yeah, next video will be Temple of Terror. I'll stop waffling now, and goodbye.